are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Yeah, thanks. Nice to meet you. Sorry to keep you waiting. Thanks for...
You're all good.
Did somebody want to run a mic on me too? Did I hear that? Or?
I think they're working on one.
You want to do wireless now? We'll just do it right here. Okay. This, can you just set this in your pocket for me? Turn it on. Set that in your pocket for me.
You may have to trade the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to keep those?
Oh, thanks, Pat. Good catch.
Everybody in the media good?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Chief?
Here's all good camera-wise too? All right. Well, good afternoon. Again, thank you very much for being here and for being patient with us before we can get out here. My name is Colonel Matthew Packard. I serve as the Chief of the Colorado State Patrol. This is a tough day to be out here with you today to share some details about a crash that happened early this morning, a little bit before 10:45. I think our official time at this point is 10:42 in this morning. But this morning at about that time, there was a Jeep Grand Cherokee that was traveling right here on Highway 6 behind me. I understand that the vehicle was traveling eastbound. I'm sorry, the Jeep Grand Cherokee was traveling westbound on Highway 6. At that same location, there was two members of the Colorado Department of Transportation that were performing maintenance operations. They had parked their CDOT vehicle. It was one of their big, large white CDOT trucks it's got the big signboard on it. They were parked off the right side of the road, again doing maintenance operations. When that Jeep Grand Cherokee traveled off the right side of the road, the two CDOT workers that were at the scene were walking back towards their truck, we believe, when that Jeep Grand Cherokee collided with both them and the CDOT truck that was parked on the scene. As a result of the collision, both Colorado Department of Transportation workers were killed on scene here on Highway 6. There were two occupants inside the Jeep Grand Cherokee, both local residents here in Mesa County, Colorado. The driver was transported to a local hospital with minor injuries, and he's since been released. And my understanding it's his spouse that was a passenger in the Jeep, and that person, an adult female, was also killed in this crash. We're still holding off on identifying the three people that have lost their lives here today. We're still working on making sure all the families have the opportunity to be notified and call their loved ones to let them know whose lives were lost today. I can't say this enough, that today is a tragic day in Colorado, certainly here to the local community in Mesa County outside of Clifton here. This is one of the hardest things that we do in this profession, is investigate the loss of life. And today, three people were killed, our two CDOT employees that were doing what they do every day, trying to make the state safer for people to travel in, and we're out here serving the people of Colorado when they were killed. And of course, the driver of the other vehicle lost his loved one today. So an absolute tragic day for us to be here today. I will tell you that the initial investigation, we do not suspect impairment at this time. There's still a lot to go through, and we will work closely with the Mesa County District Attorney's Office on the evaluation of potential criminal charges. There's a gamut here. In 2019, when Trooper Cody Donahue was killed, that resulted in legislation that a move over violation that results in a fatality could be elevated to a felony level. But again, that will all be dependent upon our vehicular crimes unit who's taking the lead on this investigation. Again, the crash was just a few hours ago at this time, and this will take hours and days of work before we can present our findings to the district attorney and evaluate charges. But again, I think the takeaway today is three people lost their lives, and anytime that happens, it's heartbreaking and tragic, and today is no exception to that. And my heart goes out to our friends at CDOT, who every day our troopers work side by side with our CDOT partners all across the state and we work really hard to keep each other safe in doing this work. And today we lost a member of our family, 2 members of our family with CDOT. And my heart goes out to everybody at CDOT. And in fact, at this time, I think it would be appropriate for me to introduce the Executive Director of the Colorado Department of Transportation, Ms. Shoshana Liu.
Good afternoon. My name is Shoshana Liu. I'm the Executive Director of the Colorado Department of Transportation. Our team is absolutely devastated to be here today, honoring the lives of 2 of our friends and family members from our organization who lost their lives today in this tragic incident. Outside of the headquarters building at CDOT, we have a stone that marks every life that's been lost in the history of the organization in the line of duty. Once a year, we gather together, with our friends and family from the State Patrol as well, to commemorate every life that's been lost and to hope and pray together that we will never have to add another name. Today we're here knowing that we will have to add 2, and that the ranks of the people who we will have to remember for losing their lives in service grows. It's hard to put to words how difficult this is for our whole team, and truly the worst part of these jobs. And for the men and women in CDOT Region 3, Section 2, this is tragically not the first time they've had to deal with loss in their midst. And it's a team that is out there every day working together with each other, with the State Patrol, with colleagues in local government, protecting the traveling public. And to lose 2 people that way is just such a devastating heartbreak for all of us. Want to share the organization's condolences with the family members of each and every one of the lives who was lost. 3 people, and that's 3 families, that's 3 networks of friends, neighbors, and 3 lives that will never be recovered. And our hearts are with all of those folks today. We will be there grieving with you throughout this process, and hoping again that these incidents do not lead to having to add more and more names to that stone. I would close just with a reminder that the folks who are out there working on the road, that is their office, and they are out there protecting the traveling public. For the folks watching today, when you see vehicles pulled over on the side of the road, doing the public's work, please treat them like they were your own family. Drive slowly, move over in compliance with the move over law, and make it safe for them to be doing the work that they do each and every day to keep the rest of us safe. So I would just reiterate our condolences and our shared sorrow with the friends and family of each of the folks who lost their lives. Thank you.
I think I forgot anything. I think we can open it up for any questions that y'all have.
Do we happen to know if speed played a factor in the crash?
So the question is whether or not speed played a factor. That will be part of our investigation. We haven't determined speeds yet, but I can tell you the speed limit here is at the location of the crash was 50 miles an hour. And I don't know that we have an indicator of overly excessive speed, but we don't have an exact one yet, but that will all be part of the investigation.
The female driver, or was it a female driver or was it a female passenger?
It was an adult male driver of the Jeep Grand Cherokee who was a minor injury, and an adult female passenger who died here at the scene.
Do we happen to know the extent of his injuries? Was it a couple scrapes or broken bones?
The information I have is that it was minor. I know he was transported to a hospital and has since been released, but beyond that, I'm not sure the extent.
You said that 2 CDOT workers were making their way back to the car. Do you know if they were walking on the side of the road too, or were they walking?
Yeah, my understanding is they were also on the shoulder of the road. They were out of the lane of travel when they were struck, and in close proximity to their truck.
And then in the press release it said that the vehicle struck the workers and then struck the truck, and that's what caused the rollover. I mean, where was I going to put this? Were they close to the truck when they were found, or was it kind of were they at least close getting back to the truck, or was it a while until they were going to go back?
My understanding is they were approaching the rear of the truck when they were struck. in all within, I don't have an exact measurement, all very close proximity between the front of the Jeep, the two CDOT employees, and the rear of their truck. And so when the collision and the impacts occurred, it was all in a very small area of proximity. And then the Jeep, after the collision, moved off away from that and traveled. Again, I don't have that exact distance, but the major impact happened all right there in the close proximity to the rear of the truck on the right shoulder of the road.
The fact that you made the long trip over here to address this obviously shows that you were deeply moved by this. What were you thinking as you drove over here?
Yeah, as Executive Director Liu mentioned, our troopers, along with CDOT workers, they make their living on the side of the road every single day. This is where they work. This is the exact crash that we work so hard to prevent. And so making sure that this receives the attention is important to me, and I know it's important to Executive Director Liu as well. Not only so that we can learn about this, but we can call attention to this. All of these crashes are so preventable, and we really want to make sure that people understand that when you're driving a car, you got to pay attention because it might not be your immediate family, but it's certainly our family that's out there doing this work every day. And families take care of each other, and that's why we're both here. We're hurting today, and we want everybody that we work with to know that they're in our hearts and that they will be forever. But again, just to call attention to this. But families need to be together when stuff like this happens, and that's why we're here.
You mentioned the CDOT truck was equipped with a signboard. Do you know if it was on and advising of road work at the time?
It'll be part of our investigation. I know it was up and deployed. I know part of that response is a lot of times stuff gets turned off or they do, but that will be a specific part of the investigation that we will look into.
Do we happen to know when so the road was closed earlier this morning when they first responded on scene, which was at about 10:45? Is that correct?
Yeah, I think our initial call was at 10:42 this morning. Yeah.
And when did the road reopen again?
I'll get an exact time for that for you when it actually opened, but my understanding is probably within the last hour or two is when it reopened again. Anytime a crash like this happens, the State Patrol has what we call our Vehicular Crimes Unit, and their job is to investigate all serious, fatal, or felony high-profile crashes. And our Vehicular Crimes Unit was deployed to come out here and investigate this. So they're assigned regionally, but that technical team came out. They'll use our unmanned aerial vehicles to do side mapping and do all that stuff. But we treat it like a crime scene, so it takes a little bit of time. And it looks like we opened the road at about 3:45 this afternoon.
I know this might be a little early to ask, but in the investigation, do you know what caused the crash? Was it distracted driving or drugs or alcohol involved?
We've made some initial investigation into the possibility of impairment, and at this point, we do not suspect impairment was involved. I can tell you, and I had a good conversation on my way over here with Captain Ozanek, who's the troop commander here in Mesa County for the State Patrol, and he shared with us that the #1 causal factor for crashes in this area of the state are lane violations, and I think at the top level, a lane violation is what caused this crash, is the Jeep traveled outside of their lane. Now, specifically as to why, whether that was distracted or some other thing, that's what the investigation will help us discover. But what I can tell you is the Jeep was not traveling in the lane that it should have been when the crash occurred.
Do you have any sort of rough timeline estimate on when the next update would happen?
We'll send something out. In fact, obviously we haven't talked about names, and we'll talk about the names of the people that lost their lives today. Either us or the Mesa County Coroner's Office will release that. And then we will work through the State Patrol's Public Affairs Office to release periodic updates as that comes. But we will work to present this case to the District Attorney's Office as quickly as we can while doing it the right way.
Do you know if the two victims were pronounced dead at the scene or were they taken to a hospital?
All three victims died here at the scene. Well, again, I'm happy to take questions. I can be here for a little while. I appreciate y'all waiting for us. If there's anything I can leave with is, again, thank you for being here, but these are really hard. These are really hard. And when you think about a human being that chooses a career that knowingly puts their lives at risk. And that can happen in a lot of different ways. People find ways to serve all across the world. But today in Mesa County, there's 2 people from CDOT that had chosen a life to serve other people and keep our highways safe and travelable for people to go and do grocery shopping and all those things. And we lost those 2 servants today. And that's damn heartbreaking. And just rest assured that the Colorado State Patrol will do everything we can to prevent this crash from happening ever again. And we will work to investigate this so we can learn from it and do whatever we need to. But this shouldn't happen. But we're doing it again. And you have my word, with our friends at CDOT, our family at CDOT, we will do everything we can to keep this from happening again. So thank you for being here.
Shoshana, do you think flags might be lowered to half staff in their honor, or is that the governor's call?
Those decisions aren't made at CDOT, but we can certainly investigate.
Yeah, I think you can anticipate that from the governor later, I would believe. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have this number on hand, but do you know the actual number of people that have died in crashes this year?
I'll get you the exact number, but I just looked at this. I think we're about 470-ish as of Monday. But I'll tell you what, we had a heck of a weekend. We had 11 lives lost over Labor Day weekend in this state, and a triple fatal today. So those numbers, I normally have that number right off the top of my head, but in not a good way at all. Like that number's gotten hard to track over the last 4 or 5 days. All right. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. If you've left before I get that, I'll let you know.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're going to be in the scene for a minute.
Okay.
We're doing live at 5 and 6.
All right, find me if I haven't found you, find me and I'll get to it.
Okay, sounds good. All right. It's 4:30, so we're going to be another 30 minutes out. All right. Put this TV down. Are you going to reopen the road back up, or? So probably might want to move out of the way.